As parents, we have to remember that we cannot run our families like corporations. We need to start guarding our children's hearts. We need to listen to them more, not just hear their words, but listen to their silences. When that child is suddenly quiet, try and find out what's happening. If we listen to them, we'll be able to know when they're drowning. And so at least that can help us to stop everything. We will listen, we'll investigate, and come up with a solution that will help both of us. But let me move from the parents. I want to talk to you, teenager, you, young adult. I want to talk to you. Absalom, when he was making those decisions, he had a crowd or a mob that was exciting him. And it was making him feel like he was untouchable and that he could get this crown, you know? But sometimes that crown, that crowd that is pushing you forward could be leading you to destruction. Let's look at my story. When I was your age, back in my secondary school days, we had an issue in school. And what was the issue? There was no water in school, so we were struggling. And being that it's a girls' school, it meant we need water for a lot of things being girls. So we decided that we need to strike. So a group of us came up with a plan on how we will lead the rest of the school to go on strike. Me, at 52, I still remember the story very clearly. But start learning what went wrong. Yes, we went ahead and did the strike, but unfortunately, it flopped. Or fortunately, it flopped. And when it flopped, of course, we have to be called in to find out who are the ringleaders. I was one of them. Suddenly, that crowd that was, yes, we are going to do this, we are going to do this, they were nowhere to be seen. So just a few of us were left to handle that case. And it meant being suspended from school to come back with a guardian. My uncle was paying my fees. Uncle James, there's no way you'll bring that kind of story to him. He will not pay school fees, and that's the end of school for you. So I had to go look for my cousin who was working with my uncle then in Mombasa, Macau, to come with me to be the guardian, at least to protect me from my uncle, because this will be another fire. You know? And thank God, in our days, we were not setting dormitories on fire. Thank God for that. But still, I got in trouble. And then guess what? I thought it's over. Towards the end of the term, when we are supposed to be going home for vacation, the names of the girls who had started the whole strike thing were called out, mine included. And we were told that we're not going home. I don't know if you've been in a boarding school. Okay, in our days, it was different. I don't know about now. In our days, there was so much excitement that the whole night people could not sleep as they waited to be the first one in the first bus going out. As in, you really want to be out of the school. But here I am, I cannot go out of the school. I have to stay behind with the girls that we led the strike with. So as everyone is going home to join their families to enjoy some quality time with their families, I was left there. And we were not left there to just sit idle. We were left there to work. You know, slasher? We were slashing. You are given a big chunk of place to work on. So since that day, I learned my lesson. And my lesson was, I will never join mobs again. I will never join people who are going there to fight for someone's rights, because the moment you reach there, they all depart and you're left alone. So if I have any case that has to deal with me, I'll walk in there and fight for my case on my own. It's a lesson that I had to learn the hard way, because all the people walikuwa wanatuchocha, twende hii lazima to strike. They were not there. They all took their bags and went home. I was left there with the girls that unfortunately our names were found. So what am I trying to remind you today? Just reminding us that be careful. And I want to take us to the final session of my story to just help us understand from my case study and from Absalom how we need to do things differently. I want to remind again, now Akumbusha, please look at me, you, look at me. That when we are making the plans, you'll be a crowd, you'll be a mob. But when things go north, Maze, you'll be on your own. And when they're egging you on, wakikuchocha, hii kitu lazima tufanye. Be careful. Please be careful. Because the day you'll be standing in front of that police station, the day you'll be standing in front of that judge, they will either be testifying against you or they're nowhere to be found. Because no one will want to be associated with you. And please also remember that some of these people who are doing this with you, some of them have powerful parents. Parents who can maybe bribe a judge. I'm not saying our judges get bribed, but they can do that. Or they can do connections for their son or daughter to be taken out of the country, to go and start their life afresh in a foreign land where they'll still live in luxury like nothing happened. While you, mse wa mtaa, watu wale tumetokapo Eastlando, unachochwa. Your own parent cannot even afford your own school fees. Then now you're adding more sorrow to them. You're going to court or jail. They cannot afford a lawyer. Or worse, you get hurt in a fracas because ulienda kuchocha. They cannot afford to take you to that hospital for treatment. Or worse, you've died. They cannot afford to pay even for your funeral. And yet, one lot walikuchocha, they'll not even come to help bury you. So please, let's think about it. Let's think about it. And now, I want us to look again at Absalom. We've dealt with my story. Let's go back to Absalom. Could he maybe have done things differently? Did he really have to kill his brother just because he wanted to revenge what was done to his sister? I'm sure there are other ways. Maybe he could have gone to a prophet to complain, or he could have looked for other ways that could have made the king listen to his grievances. But now, because of what he did, it led to anger issues, it led to bitterness, and it led to a coup d'etat. A coup d'etat in most countries, what happens to that person? They will be killed because you tried to remove a sitting king or president from the throne. Then definitely it's treason, nothing else. But that's what he did. It was a bloody coup d'etat. Nonetheless, the king was still feeling pity for him because he was the son. But what about you? If they don't know you, what's going to happen to you? So let's look at this. They say that his long, beautiful hair, one of the things that made him stand out, was the same thing that got caught in the thick branches of an oak tree. And that is what led to him. He was left hanging there. Even his own horse fled away from him. Like it went away. It ran off. Can you see? Like even that thing that you thought will be the closest to you, it will run away. It left him there hanging. And that's why he was found by Joab's people and they killed him there. Okay? So the very crowd that you feel mighty with today, tomorrow they'll be declaring, crucify him, crucify him, crucify him. So think about it. Remember, when you think it's just a school protest or a social media trend that is there that, oh, it's saying let's kill one another or let's kill people or let's set a dormitory on fire for fun, sometimes it will cross a line of no return. And when it does, like the way now we had an issues of arson, where we set buildings on fire, this is not just a viral prank that you're doing. It will lead to worse things. And it will end up being like meditated. And when it's meditated, that comes to capital offense. Yani kamiti itakuwa inakungoja. Kamiti itakuwa inakungoja. So, in that flash, the moment of you trying to look tough for a group chat, please be careful that soon you might be changing your uniform, school uniform, to prison uniform in committee. I know majority of you are carrying a lot of trauma, just like Absalom. A lot of you are carrying a lot of massive amount of stress. And that is why there's this author and psychologist, Dr. John Deloney. He notes that in our current generation, most of us are digitally connected with people we don't know, but we are the most lonely and isolated people in human history. Think about it. When we feel overwhelmed, our brains can trick us into thinking and making permanent decisions that were just to solve temporary problems. Okay? Now, how do we protect our future? I want to talk to you, my dear teenager, young adult, youth. Please, when you feel overwhelmed, I want to take you to faithgateway.com. They have a beautiful article there that is talking about don't carry your burdens alone. Okay? And so they've addressed some of the issues that you as a teenager should do. Please create time to go and look for that article. But I will focus on two. The first one says, guard your heart from unworthy people. Your future is priceless. Let me just remind you that. And so you should guide it like a priceless diamond. That's what they're reminding us. Okay? Anytime people are dragging you to a school strike, to a toxic group chat, to planning chaos, to pressuring you into trying new drugs, to alcohol, to vaping, to any bad behavior that just does not fit in with your faith or what you believe in, please remember those people do not care about you. So they just want to use you to make you feel like you belong. Well, actually, they don't care about you. Okay? Secondly, Proverbs 4:23 reminds us, guard your heart above all else, for it determines the course of your life. So anytime you're sitting around people whose motives you don't trust, if your instincts is refusing, or if their lifestyle choices are violating your values, please have the courage to walk away. Secondly, in that faith gateway, they also remind us that you don't have to carry your burdens alone. Absalom tried to carry the trauma through bitterness, and it destroyed him. When we let our internal hurts and pressure simmer in isolation, we walk right into an emotional trap. And that's where most of these people are looking for that. Online, they'll be looking for someone they can get because they know you're already going through a lot. Okay. So instead, First Peter 5:7 tells us, give all your worries and care to God, for He cares about you. When you feel overwhelmed, just go to God, talk to Him, and listen to what He'll tell you to do. Then remember, Galatians 6:2, it tells us, bear one another's burden. You have every right to feel overwhelmed, but just use the right channels. If your parents maybe don't want to listen to you, look for an auntie, an uncle, a pastor, a teacher, someone you can safely talk to. Any safe adults that you feel. It could be a counselor in your school, it could be a teacher, whoever it is. Or if your parents is the kind that can listen, please talk to them. Tell them honestly, I'm feeling overwhelmed. I need help. There's zero shame in speaking up. I could rather feel stupid that I spoke up that I didn't, and then it consumes me. So today, I remind you again, learn from my story, learn from the agony of a father who was a king, David, and learn from the fall of Absalom. Before you join any crowd in making any reckless choice, please ask yourself, are these trendsetters going to stand in the dock with me? Will they serve my years in prison for me? If the answer is no, walk away. Because remember, they'll pretend they never knew you. Your parents' hearts are already full with the stresses of life. Please don't add more weight to them. They can never recover from some of the things that we've taken them through. Please stand on your own feet. Speak for yourself. Walk away from the crowd before the crowd destroys your life. I hope what I've spoken about today will be something that you can take with you and that you can learn from. Have a good evening and thank you for listening.